I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Okay, so I thought that was an excellent way to start this video. For those who don't speak French, this says the steps of a marathon, and you basically see, you know, a guy pretty confident for the first to 22 kilometers, and then being destroyed any kilometer after 22. And I think that I can relate to that. And so I'm making that video just to close this whole, marathon story. I think that was very important for me to do that. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who were behind me in the first place, supporting me. And I'm not making this video for anyone else than myself. I think it's just a way for me to close the whole experience, the whole marathon experience. I don't know if I'm gonna run any other one day, but I'll talk about this in the end. So I made a quick plan to tell you why this marathon, why did I get this crazy idea in the first place. Then I will talk about my preparation and the run itself. And then I will talk about the days after, how I felt about it, how I still feel about it today. And I'll end by saying what's next. So I've got a lot of tabs open on my laptop, and I think I would start. Well, let's start pretty big. How did this start? It started here. That's Istanbul 2017. I visited the city. I don't remember for how many days, but at the time I only visited. I was making videos at the time. That's why I'm having this video. I have I did a whole trip from, I don't know. Let me see. That was Istanbul, but that was a whole trip in India, and Istanbul was on the way. So I did Goa, Mumbai, Varanasi, Jaipur, yada yada yada, and Istanbul was on my way to those destinations. So I stopped there, but sadly I could not see the Asian side of the city, which I thought it was a bit disappointing. But at the same time, again, I did not have the time to go there. So this is why in December 2022, I took a trip to Egypt. It was a long-term trip. I think I wanted to see the pyramid when I was 16 after reading the book The Alchemist from Paulo Coelho. Maybe there is a picture here. Yeah. After reading this book, I wanted to go see the pyramid before I was 30. Turns out that I was 32 when I visited the pyramid. And during this trip, I met a girl named Aisha. Where is it? She's somewhere here. And she's Turkish, and she told me, oh, well, if you go run the marathon in Istanbul, you will see the Asian side, and you will see the Asian side because it starts in Asia, right? There is this famous bridge. I'm looking for pictures of so there's this famous bridge. This is the Asian side of Istanbul, and when you cross the bridge, if I'm in the good way, yeah, seems like good. When you cross the bridge, you arrive on the European side. So again, it's a bit blurry, but here is the starting point. This is the Asian side of Istanbul, and then you cross the bridge and you arrive in Europe. So honestly, did I see the Asian side of Istanbul during the marathon? No, because it's just like not even a kilometer, right? If you look at the map, after 500 meters, like I think the bridge is like 2 to 3 kilometers. So yeah, but still, that was the idea. So this is why I wanted to run this marathon. And at the time, and I'm gonna make this little story part of the preparation, I think so that was March. That was March 2022. So that same year, I was already, for some reason, I don't remember why. I think I was just challenging myself to see if I was able to run 42 kilometers. So I started to do long distance run. Maybe that was not so far after COVID, so I just was looking for fresh air. So I started to run. Oops. I started to run long distance, and I ended up with the Marathon of Berlin, which I ran on my own, with no big preparation, but I ran it in 5 hours. Where is it? Where's the run? So that was 33. Yeah, 41.7. So that's the Marathon of Berlin that I ran on a Tuesday afternoon in March 2022, kind of randomly. And it took me, 4 hours 59. So then I was like, why not doing it again? But this time officially, so I get the medal. And it turns out that Istanbul could be a great idea because I could see the Asian side that have never seen before. So the preparation, then I asked ChatGPT to make a plan. I just asked it, can you help me prepare running training for Istanbul on November 3rd? And he came out with that 7 weeks training. So week 1, build endurance, and it was like 3 to 4 runs per week. And I'm like, I'm not gonna have time to run 3 to 4 times per week, right? So that was the original plan, and then I kept asking it, can you make it shorter? Can you change? Can you change? And I ended up making a plan where I would run once a week for a few weeks. So you can see here, the training starts here in September, end of September, when I had to run beginning of November. So that's a very short time to train for a marathon. And I did. So the goal was 14 kilometers, 16, 20, 33. I mean, 20, probably I should have done 25 here. So I just did something very simple. I took how much kilometers I had to run on November 3, and I took the time I had until then, and I just increased the distance. If you think about it, this is a terrible idea, because if I was at the gym, and thanks to Emily for sharing this with me. She made me realize that after the marathon, though. But if I was at the gym, we're talking about like 20, 50% increase sometime. At the gym, it's like if you would have like 60 kilos and you go straight to 80, 100, it makes no sense. You can't even do it. So yeah, those were massive increments. Normally you're supposed to increase by 5% every run, something like that, or every 2 weeks. I mean, there are some rules that I didn't know. And also, when you prepare for a marathon, it's best to also do some muscle training, very specific zone of the legs, so you can avoid injuring yourself. Nevertheless, it starts with a 15 16 kilometers, and I'm easy, I'm unstoppable. I put those little comments. I just go one run after another. I don't want to get too much detail about, like, how was it? There was one run which was like, what the fuck, because it was a trail. It wasn't a run, so we went up and down. So we did 3 hours 20 to do 20 kilometers. That was extremely frustrating for me. I will talk about it in what's next again. There was maybe an idea to do some trail, like the UTB or something like this, or UTC. I don't remember how it's called. That's not gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen because I really don't like running in mountains. I think you can walk in the mountains. That's super great. It's nice to hike. You get nature. You can think about your life, listen to some podcasts. But running there is not really easy. So then I did 5 kilometers. I didn't need to run. I think it's not that I didn't need. It's, yeah, I couldn't. Um, then the next two runs, that was my 33K near Berlin. And then this is the run that got me injured. I did 38 kilometers, 4 hours. That's pretty decent time. I think, yeah, I guess the next run was gonna be again the same Berlin Marathon. I was gonna do this again. I was gonna run this on my own again. It was supposed to be the final run after this one, after the 38. However, I got injured. What happened? You may ask me. Well, very easy. I mean, very easy. This is the lymphatic system of the human body, and around this area here, I got super swollen. That was concerning. That was like completely bloated with water, sharp pain. So right in this area, so I got worried that it could be how's it called? Yeah, I just got worried that maybe it could be worse than what it was. Turns out that it was just a lymphatic infection, is it called? So just needed to rest. So this was, I got injured. I think that was 3 weeks before the marathon, right? I don't know. I can't see the date. There is no date here, but yeah, that was 2 to 3 weeks before the marathon. I think any doctor, yeah, that's October 16. That's October 16, and I was supposed to run on November 3. So just for you to have an idea. Yeah, so I got injured on that day here. So I had 3 weeks to rest. I think any doctor would have told me not to run the marathon, but now you know the story behind it, right? I was going to Istanbul to check a dream that I had for 2 years, even more, right? It was such a symbolic trip for me. Especially also because it's between Asia and Europe, and as I'm making that video, and I'm in Bangkok, and I'm really starting to implement this lifestyle that I always wanted to live, which is living 6 months out of the year in Asia and 6 months in Europe, and more or less, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But this was, this was very, very important. There was nothing that could have let me not run this marathon. Maybe but something way more serious than a lymphatic infection. So now moving on to next point, which is the run analysis. So again, I'm not so professional, but it's funny because just running the marathon, I got so much more knowledge. Just talking about running with people who knew what they were doing, who were running like professionally, like, super serious. I really, if you've seen my shirt, it was written, I don't run to perform, I run cause I can. And that's really the mentality that I've tried to approach this whole experience. I wasn't here to perform. I wasn't here to, obviously it would have been great to do less than 5 hours, because when I did this, I was still drinking at the time. I wasn't sober. By the way, if I've never told you, I'm sober for a bit more than 2 years. But I was thinking, if I do it officially, there will be no traffic. There will be some water and some food on the way. So I really, the goal was to do less than 5 hours. Turns out that, let's see how it went. So the thing about this run is like, you got You don't have half marathon of 21 kilometers in Istanbul. You have 15 kilometers or 42. And this is the first 15 kilometers that I'm showing here on the map. So it starts from the bridge, you go to Europe, then you run here, and then on this is when the 15 kilometers they directly go to the finish line. So they run till here and they go right because you're running in that sense. So they go right and they go to the finish, and the 42 kilometers they go left and they start this super long highway, and it's not a loop. It's not a loop. You have to go one way, turn around, and come back, right? So the first 15 kilometers, easy. Like you can see some of my pace. I don't know how, but I did a kilometer in 4 minutes, which is, maybe the road was going down. That's pretty fast. Like I think my pace should have never been more than 6 minutes, maybe, or 5:40. I don't know. Again, I don't want to talk too technical here if you don't know about pace and all that. But the first 15 kilometers, yeah, easy. There is the crowd, there's people all around you. You're still running with the 15K runners. So in a way, it's like it was easy to go fast because it was just the whole thing. But then you can see, so here I probably took my time the first time, but then you can see I'm all below 6, more or less. And then the 15 kilometers goes away. And that's when the harsh part, the very hard part starts. And you can see, yeah, 26. This is when I go over 7 minutes. And that's when things started to be very tough. I think that was around here. The thing is, I was below 22 kilometers. I was below 2 hours, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna rock this. I'm gonna finish in 4 hours. Maybe I was really, really confident. And then somehow around 26 kilometers, it starts feeling very lonely because all the crowd, all the 15 kilometers runners, they left. So it's really, and around 20 kilometers, you start to, I saw the first guys already coming back. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like I'm running one way and you see after 2 hours, the other guys already running back. And you're like, what the hell? Like, okay. And then from that moment, I'm just running and I see all the people coming back. And 26 kilometers, I would say, where is it? 26 kilometers. So that's this part of the run. Yeah. So 26 kilometers is a bit before I had to turn around. And already I could start feeling my legs. Already that was like, okay, it starts to be difficult. I can do this. But in reality, I was starting to go into a dark place, which got even darker from kilometer, not even 30, 29. Kilometer 27 is when we turn around. And you see, I'm almost 8 minutes pace at this time. And now from kilometer 27, I'm facing the wind because when I turn around, I mean, it's beautiful, even though I didn't really see the landscape, but it's a beautiful run because you're next to the sea and you might think, wow, it's amazing. It's not, it wasn't because it was rainy. It was very windy. I don't know if I can find a picture of the weather so we can really see what the weather was like. Yeah, that's a video. Yeah, so you can see it's gray. You can see that everybody's like, yeah, go for it, let's go. And I was still within the first 10 kilometers, but the weather was gray, it was cold, it was windy. And so as soon as I turn around here, it just became a nightmare. Like the wind, If it's training, it's training, it's okay. But the wind drove me crazy, and it really put me in this dark thought mode, and I couldn't get out of it. And around 30 kilometers, I'm just like, that's it. The 31st kilometers, I start to walk, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm like, I just I couldn't run anymore. Usually that's normal. I do 1 kilometer running, 1 kilometer walking. I know that ideally I should run slower from the beginning and make it more, but again, I'm not a professional. I was just doing this for fun. I'm just running because I can. And 36 kilometers, whatever, I must have taken a lot of break. Then 38, 39, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to run again. But then I stopped because on this kilometer, I was like, if I do run one more kilometer, it's funny because Strava registered 44 kilometers. And that's probably because I'm going back and forth on the roll, right? I'm not going always straight. But if I do run one more kilometer, I'm gonna get really, really injured. And remember, I was already injured anyway. I wasn't fully recovered, let's be honest. So I'm like, okay, I'm not here to injure myself to the point that I could never run again. So I just walked, and even to the end, I remember I just ran the first 50 meters, the last 50 meters, sorry. Like, even when you get into the park, then the crowd start to be here again. And in those last moments, they're here to encourage you. And I'm like, I'm done. My legs were just gone, not responding. So that was an experience. Of course, I cracked into tears when I arrived. It was very, very high emotional moment. It was amazing. I'm so happy I did it. And the day after, I just had a normal trip, like I went to Cappadocia. Cappadocia is this beautiful place when you see the hot balloons in the morning. And my legs were a bit like noodle legs for like one day or two, but that was okay. I did have a sharp pain in the knee though, and I think that's a good way to do the transition to what's next and the day after. I think, yeah, I did have some sharp pain, and I remember it's not the first time that I had very sharp pain. And I mean, pain is part of the game, right? When you do any fitness, I guess you go to you go to the gym, you've got muscle that are going to be sore. Part of the process. There's nothing you can really do about it, and it's even part of the pleasure in some way. But when it comes to running, I think it really gives me those sharp pain in the joint. My ankle, sorry, still hurt a little bit. And I think it is not I don't know if there is some healthy or unhealthy pain, but I think when my muscles are sore, they're just growing, right? It's just like it's healthy pain. I was doing Muay Thai for 2 days in a row. I've got some bruise. I'm sore. I can't. It's hard for me to get up. But I think this is a healthy pain. It means like I've been pushing a bit my limits but running long distance never did well on me. Probably because I'm not prepared enough. But the fact is, when I run, I really have those hips pain, and it's like it really makes me feel like if I keep doing that way, then I'm gonna have to be operated or something, and I don't want to go there. So at first I thought, oh, I did not finish below 5 hours. I did not finish within less than 5 hours. I did not beat my drinking record. What I mean by that is, again, at the time when I did my first 42 kilometers, I did in 5 hours. There was no traffic. I was drinking at the time. I wasn't drinking during the run, or even though that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I really thought if I do an official marathon, I'm gonna beat my personal record, and I didn't. And so at first I was like, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again in Berlin. I'm gonna run the official Berlin's marathon. But I took a few weeks to think about it. And by the time by the time I made a decision to do it, it was too late to subscribe anyway, to sign up, which I think is a good thing, because I also, before running, I kind of made a promise to myself that I would just run one marathon, because I know it's bad for me. That's it. Uh, Maybe it could be good for me if I train better, if I'm more serious, but it's not that interesting, to be honest. Don't get me wrong. I feel super proud. I feel super happy. I would recommend anyone to try to do it, because it's just an amazing experience. And at the same time, I don't think I will ever run another marathon. I don't think I will go into trail running in the mountains, because I just, deep down, I think I don't like it enough. Um, I'm having so much more fun doing Muay Thai here in Thailand, or CrossFit is amazing as well. It's something, there are many other activities for fitness that I love to do, but running is, I don't know. I get a lot of satisfaction at the end once I finish the run. During the run, it's also a meditation. I listen to my motivational speech, music, whatever. I do enjoy the process to some extent, but it's not worth the injuries and the pain that I go through after. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's my take. Again, that might change. Maybe, a few years from now, I will. If I was to do another long distance, that would definitely be in the mountains, be a trail like, 60 kilometers in the mountains. But I don't think I'll ever gonna do that. Yeah, it sounds like, again, I don't want to repeat myself. So thank you for watching. I'd be happy to hear your thought. If you want to leave a comment or just send me a message. Again, I'm really doing this video for myself, for my close friends. I don't expect that it's gonna go viral. I'm so happy I did that. I feel super proud. I ran a marathon, that's checked. I've got a dream list checked. I'm here in Bangkok doing Muay Thai, checked. So that's like, I'm gonna go to Angkor Wat. Sorry, I'm going a bit off script here. I'm going to Angkor Wat for Christmas, and that's another one of my big dream. So it feels like I'm really on the move at the moment. I'm really, really tackling a lot of my dreams, and that feels good.